front and the back. Okay, we're going to try it. Out a little bit. You hear it idle faster?
There's wind noise. I'm really sorry, guys.
Oh, and the sound of the motor.
Right.
Put it in gear. Put your foot on the brake. Yep, put it in gear.
Nothing drive.
Left-handed.
Because you're talented. I think you're idling it down, aren't you?
I am. That's the objective. To kick it and put it in park. Loose belt. Well, Rome wasn't built in a day.
That we knew, though.
Now put it in gear again.
Sounds like it wants to stall.
A little bit.
Should I put it in park first?
Nope. Put it back in park. It's a little high RPM as I'd like. And it's not idling as smooth as it was when it
when we first started it. I noticed that too. I noticed it when we put it in drive this time.
But will it run?
Will it drive? Do you hear it? But it only seems to do it when it's warmed up.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't do it when it's cold. Shouldn't need that much choke when it's hot.
You guys can hear it go. That's what it's doing. But it only does it when it's warmed up. It doesn't do it when it's cold. It makes no sense. Like anything on this engine ever has. I know the gearheads will notice it, but for those who don't know anything about engines, it's not supposed to do that. It's very subtle. Supposed to be nice and smooth. I'm going to turn you guys off for a few minutes, so this isn't too long because it's already at 16 minutes and I'm boiling in the seat, so I'll get back to you.
Left-handed.
What's that?
Left-handed.
Sounds like it's doing it again.
Super responsive carburetor. I don't think I got any vacuum leaks around that. Oh look, choke's all the way open now.
Yeah.
Alright, well, there's only one thing left to do.
Alright, I gotta
Give her a test drive.
put things in travel mode.
We'll leave the engine cover off.
I'll show you guys when we get going. Moment of truth. Hope the camera stays where it is. You ready?
Give it a shot.
Please. Stalled right now.
That's not a good thing.
Fuck.
Start it back up.
It didn't do that though when we had the thing off of it.
Oh, I might have the idle set down a little low. That's okay. Give it a little bit of gas. There we go. Now put in gear. Get a little feather over it. Okay, let's go.
But that means I'll stall at a stop sign.
Not necessarily. Well, it might, yeah.
Feel that? That's not gonna work. What the hell? I don't even dare take this on the road right now.
Let's just drive around the parking lot a little bit. Choke is all the way open.
Fricker. Brakes barely work, you know, when the stall's out.
I know, you lose your vacuum. Go ahead and start it up again. Maybe he's right with that fuel pressure problem. Maybe we do have a bad fuel pump.
But I've been driving from
I know,
but
that doesn't mean it didn't go bad in the meantime. Go ahead and put it in gear. Yep. And that guy's on the mark with that fuel pump.
Hesitating so badly. Like it doesn't get enough power.
I know, you get enough fuel. Just keep it in the parking lot.
I am. Just trying to get myself a wiper and put it on very hard. I don't have to, you know. But I want to do another circle.
Yeah, go on this circle. Over here to the left and just crank it. Okay, by God, maybe that guy's right on YouTube and we got a bad fuel pump. That doesn't mean that fuel pump didn't go bad since she bought it. So it'll start right up, I'll bet.
Didn't even give it gas.
But I had the choke partially closed.
Oh. Let me know when.
It's not getting enough fuel. Yeah, go ahead. Right. Go ahead, pull it up next to the bus. I wonder if it's a partially obstructed fuel line. Nobody mentioned that yet. Yeah, turn it off. I'm heart sick. It's not fixed yet.
Doing your best.
Yeah.
Excuse not showing now.
No. And it just rips without a load on it.
Well, if it's not getting enough fuel, why would that happen? Does that make sense?
Well, it doesn't have any load on it. There's no demand for that fuel. It's just not. Look how fast it's idling. Changing. Weird shit. Yeah, I wonder if it's a partially obstructed fuel line.
We blew out the fuel line before we put the fuel filter and fuel pump in. We blew it out.
Yeah, maybe it could be plugged again.
But there was nothing plugging it, that's what I mean.
You don't know because you blow it out and you blow it back into the tank. You really don't know. You know, I mean, I suppose I could hook up a pressure gauge. No, hook up a pressure gauge.
That's how we did it.
Hook up that pressure. That vacuum pump I do also has pressure. It tells you pressure pounds in. So I can hook that up to the fuel line and put a little pressure on it and see if it doesn't go poof. And you know.
Idea. We're kind of running out of ideas.
We're hitting the bottom.
Running out of ideas, guys.
All right, turn it on.
Definitely running out of ideas. So if you guys have anything, go ahead and put it in the comments.
Well,
might go live.
You know, I don't know.
I just don't see how that fuel pump, if it was faulty, if it could get me all the way from Tennessee to Texas, out here all winter long, and to here before giving any problems.
Yeah, that happens though. Anything mechanical that's man-made eventually is going to bore out and break. And that's why those things are only like $30.
Actually, I think it was like $5
for a fuel pump. Yeah, well, you know, for $5 in this day and age. You know, you think of what it costs to buy a fuel pump module for a fuel injection.
And the first one we got wasn't the right pump.
Well,
like the bar that's on there, it was on the opposite side. So we had to go back. He had to actually travel down to another AutoZone because that's the only way we could get the other one.
They didn't have one at that place. Yeah. Yeah, well, it's still not exactly the right one, but it's good enough. Unless they had a
half the shit on this they don't make anymore.
Yeah, unless they had a pre-formed hose for it, it would have to be like that. So. Okay. Well, fuck, I just don't know. Fuck it down. Check that fuel line and make sure it's not blocked off, and then we'll. That means I climb underneath the bus, and then the next.
It's actually not that bad to get to.
No, it's not. I put it on there, so I know.
Oh, no, I meant the fuel line that goes from there back there.
No, that's all metal.
Yeah, that's the one we blew out.
Yeah, well, you got to disconnect it up here at the fuel pump to blow it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to go underneath the bus and just disconnect the fuel line again. And it's not too horribly bad, no. It's just laying in the dirt underneath a hot engine. When we don't know whether that's going to be it or not. But it's possible. If that's not blocked, then we got to take your YouTuber's advice at the repair shop, and we got to drive to Blythe and get a Kingman, Arizona, and get a fuel pressure test kit.
Did you see that smoke come out of there?
That's just unburnt fuel vapor. So, but that would be, you know, the next logical thing to test. It runs so good when it runs, and carburetors either work or they don't work usually. This one seems to be working really good when it's cold and it has no load on it.
Yeah.
You know, we let it get good and hot and the choke was fully open. It took about 10 minutes for the choke to fully open.
And you know, I noticed that too before all this started.
Hello.
The hell? Sam Wynn's taking the doghouse.
What?
But what I noticed was the longer I drove it, every time I shut it off, the longer I drove it, the harder it was to get it started back up again.
Wasn't getting enough fuel, maybe. You know?
Like, it'd be fine, but then I'd drive it for a while, and every time I'd stop and turn it off, like at a gas station or whatever, it'd be harder and harder to get it started
That's a hot start.
But only driving long distance.
Yeah, well, that's
short distance, I didn't really have a problem.
Well, the engine never got any heat in it that way. It gets a lot of heat in it when you're driving down the highway at 60 or 55. That's maximum heat this engine develops.
Like to the point where I wouldn't even shut it off half the time to get gas because I was afraid I couldn't get it start back up again.
Yep. Sounds lean to me. Did it help to mash the gas pedal all the way to the floor and crank it? Is that how you get it to start?
Yeah, pumping it and mashing it.
That's lean. Or if you got to mash your pedal all the way to the floor and hold it there, that means it's flooded. By pumping it, you're giving it more gas. By holding the pedal all the way to the floor, you're giving it maximum amount of air. Flooded engine, you hold the pedal all the way to the floor.
I don't know. Sometimes I would use a combination of the two.
Lean engine, flooded engine, you use the pedal all the way to the floor. Lean engine, you pump the pedal to actuate the accelerator pump in the carburetor.
Well, it was the same thing when the fuel pump was bad in Tennessee. It would run fine at first, and I'd travel on the highway a little bit, but every time I got off the highway and had to stop somewhere, it'd stall out on me.
Maybe we got a bad fuel pump.
But it's a different fuel pump. That's what I don't
Doesn't
get.
matter.
How could it run that long without giving any problems?
Because it's made by man, and maybe it wore out, and it's been,
After not even a year?
Yep, it happens. I bought brand new parts out of the box that didn't work. Expensive parts. And that wasn't expensive. So that happens occasionally in the automotive world.
This is so frustrating.
Oh. But if anybody else out there's got any ideas, we're welcome and open to any suggestions.
Anything at all at this point.
Yep, there's no emissions on this engine. It's a commercial truck engine. So all it has is a PCV valve on it for emissions. And we've deleted any of the air conditioning high-speed idle controls on it. So we don't have to worry about vacuum leaks in there. It's got a new rebuilt, or it's got a fairly recent rebuilt, remanufactured distributor on it because I can still see the barcode sticker on it. And it's not all fuzzy. It's got a top-of-the-line distributor on it with brass contacts, and the rotor's acceptable. And I don't think that's the problem.
New plug wires, new spark plugs, new air filter as of last October.
It's fine. It's clean.
What else did I say was new? Oh, the
coil.
ignition coil. Yeah, and then the fuel filter and the fuel pump were both done at the same time as the air filter.
And the only other components of the ignition system are the spark box, the ignition module, and a ballast resistor that are under the hood. If the ballast resistor's out, it'll start and die. If the ignition module's out, it won't start at all. So they either work or they don't work. There's no intermediate stuff on an electronic ignition. So I'm still thinking fuel. The ignition system checks out.
At this point, I'd try anything.
Yeah, well, we don't know what else to do. I've not blown out the fuel line yet. And I ran across this issue with a buddy of mine in Montana about 10 years ago with a Class C Chevy with a partially obstructed fuel line that goes back to the gas tank. And there's chances are, as old as this is, there's some gunk in that gas tank. So you think it gets sucked up in the fuel filter. We may pull the new fuel filter off and knock it off on a paper towel and see if there's anything in it, too.
Right.
See if it's partially obstructed, sucked up a bunch of gunk out of the fuel tank.
I know the last one was pretty bad.
Well, I can tell. We can tell. You blow back through them and see how much resistance there is backwards.
Yeah, I think he did
that.
that.
That's how you tell. Yep. Or actually,
I'd have to look back on the video, but I'm pretty sure he did that.
You can blow through them either direction.
And when he blew it out, there was like rust in it.
Well, maybe that's it. Maybe we've been fighting vacuum leaks.
No, but that was the old one. That didn't get put back on here.
Yeah, well, maybe we've been fighting. Yeah, but it didn't get that rust and shit in there by itself. It got it in there from sucking it out of the gas tank. So maybe it sucked a bunch of more shit out of this 40-year-old gas tank, and it's plugged up that new fuel filter. It could happen. It could happen.
So how do we clean the gas tank? That seafoam stuff?
No, you can't. You can't.
So there's nothing I can do?
No, just keep putting fuel filters in it. Buy a spare fuel filter, and when it does it again, throw another fuel filter at it. Might be a year, might be 6 months. It may end up sucking all the loose stuff out of there by driving it, and it just quits doing it. But the only way you can do that is take the gas tank out, empty it, try to flush it, and it's probably full of rust because it's old, and junk that gets in the gas over the years. So but we'll see. That's the next step. Got to keep working on fuel. That carburetor's working great now.
It seems to be.
Yeah, the idle air mix screws are really responsive, and that means we fixed all the vacuum leaks, I think.
The choke's doing its job now.
Choke's doing its job. The choke pull-off is operating correctly. And so, I don't know. I'm thirsty and I'm out of ice. And I don't have anything to drink.
I'm almost out of water.
But lemon water. And I'm drinking cold water, ice water out of my ice chest. I hope that doesn't haunt me tonight.
Oh no.
But it was a clean ice chest, so. And it is ice cold water, and it sure tastes good. So.
Right. I might have to hit you up for some of that.
Yeah, I've heard you can drink water out of your ice chest in a pinch. This is the first time I've ever done it. But
I'd be willing to do it right now as well as I am on water.
Necessity, well, cold water. Ice cold glass of water.
Because I've been drinking piss warm water.
Yeah, that's nasty. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I put lemon in it.
Especially when it's 100 degrees out.
You gotta flavor it. You gotta put something in it, a little bit of lemon.
Well, I've got that little flavoring squeezy stuff.
Yeah, a little bit of that.
Anyways, I don't want to bore you guys, but if you have any ideas, leave them in the comments.
Yeah.
See you later.